गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भानुलाय
That marks an auspicious beginning to our event. The traditional way to start it always. Thank you to all our esteemed guests. Of course, a traditional welcome also cannot be complete without the flowers. So I'll now request our volunteers to please come on stage and present bouquets to all our esteemed guests on dais. Can we have the bouquets, please? Thank you, volunteers. May I now request everyone to please rise for the SOA anthem. Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, it does take a lot of efforts and hard work to organize a literary event of this stature. But at the same time, it also requires a lot of heart. And the Prachin team of SOA, led by Dr. Gayatri Ballapanda, is considered one of the brightest stars of the literary landscape, being an eminent Odia poet, fiction writer, literary critic, columnist, academician, and editor herself, has left no stone unturned to help you all make some wonderful memories for a lifetime during the second edition of the SOA Literary Festival. I'll now request her to present the welcome address.
Good morning, one and all present here. Professor Dr. Manoj Ranjan Naik, Honorable Founder, President of Shiksha Anusandhan, Professor Pradipta Kumar Nanda, esteemed Vice Chancellor, Mr. Madhav Kaushik, President Sahitya Academy, and eminent poet and author, Dr. Pratibha Rai, Gyanapith Award, and eminent Odia writer, Professor Ashish Nandi, eminent political psychologist, social theorist, and critic, Dr. K. Srinivas Rao, eminent author and secretary, Sahitya Academy, Divya Datta, actor and author, my respected co-writers and colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I take this opportunity to greet you as Peter Das did 3 centuries ago. Welcome everyone, welcome absolutely everyone. Peter Das was a Lutheran priest and the foremost Norwegian poet of his generation, writing both Baroque hymns and topographical poetry. I am Dr. Gayatri Bala Panda, head of Prachin, a center set up by the Shiksha Anusandhan, deemed to be university, expanded. It stands for SOA, Center for Preservation, Propagation and Restoration of Ancient Culture and Heritage of India. It is the brainchild of Professor Dr. Manoj Ranjan Nayak, founder of Shiksha Anusandhan, whose impeccable leadership has hugely contributed towards creating an incredible ecosystem for quality academics, research, and healthcare in our state. Shiksha Anusandhan stands as one of the top-notch universities of India today, providing professional education in a plethora of subjects for more than 15 years. The university is ranked 15th in the country by the National Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF, in 2023 and is counted among the best in the eastern region. Around 15,000 students from within India and other countries have been pursuing courses in this university in diverse disciplines, including engineering, medicine, dental sciences, pharmaceutical sciences, management, nursing, hospitality and tourism management, law, agricultural sciences, and veterinary sciences. The Institute of Medical Sciences and some hospital, Faculty of Medicine of SOA, has emerged as one of the most trusted hospitals in Odisha and neighboring states. As per the NIRF ranking of 2023, SOA's Faculty of Medicine was ranked 16th in the country, while the faculties of Legal Studies, Dental Sciences, and Engineering were placed 8th, 9th, and 27th nationally in that order. SOA's founder President Professor Nayak, whose contribution towards extending top-drawer healthcare facilities to the people is greatly appreciated, played a significant role in the battle against COVID-19 when the SOA University set up 5 separate COVID hospitals in collaboration with the state government to treat the afflicted. While endeavoring to provide the students the best of professional education with state-of-the-art infrastructure and strong focus on academics and research, Shiksha Anusandhan has not out of the need to extend its hand in areas like preservation, propagation, and restoration of ancient heritage and culture of India. This has led to the launching of Prachin. SOA believes that though science and technology are the vehicles through which modern society's progress is made possible, it should be done in an environment which is fragrant with art, culture, and literature. At the philosophical core of Prachin lies a commitment to mobilize and coordinate expertise to address critical issues of conservation. Prachin's main thrust is to undertake various publications and organize workshops, seminars, symposia to provide an understanding and appreciation of the philosophy, aesthetics, and beauty inherent in Indian art and culture. Its vision is for a world in which cultural heritage, its preservation, propagation, and restoration is inextricably linked with notions of progress, inclusivity, well-being, and stability. Prachin has undertaken some major programs like publication of critical edition of original Sarala Mahabharata, digitization of ancient texts and manuscripts, introduction of PhD courses in anthropology and tribal studies, yoga, and culture studies. Prachin has already brought out critical editions of 11 out of 18 purvas of the Sarala Das Mahabharata, authored by the 15th century poet Sarala Das, who has been acknowledged as the first great poet of Oriya literature. Prachin has made a fresh attempt to prepare a new critical edition of Sarala Das Mahabharata, including digitalization, translation, prose rendering, production of corpora, dictionary, and literary encyclopedia. Prachin has also undertaken some major programs like digitization. Until now, it has digitized more than 10 lakh pages of material, including most Oriya periodicals published before 1950, several post-1950 magazines, and over 6,000 books. The first edition of SOA Literary Festival was conducted by Prachin on February 1st and 2nd, 2020, which was a great success. Unfortunately, a few weeks after the event, the world has thrown into turmoil of COVID-19, swept across continents, dangling a huge question mark over the future of humanity. It interrupted life. We are glad that despite the interruption and delay, we are able to come together and hold the second Lit Fest today. Sahitya Academy, in collaboration with Prachin, organized a conclave of tribal writers of India, representing 49 tribal languages on the occasion of International Day of World's Indigenous People on August 9, 2023 in Bhubaneswar. The two-day program included panel discussions, poetry readings, short story readings, talks, and performances focusing on relevant themes. I, on behalf of the SOA family and Prachin, feel honored to welcome the galaxy of eminent writers, thinkers, critics, and poets who have been extremely kind to accept our invitation to grace this inaugural function. I also take this opportunity to welcome the dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Pratibha Rai, Professor Rashish Nandi, Mr. Madhav Kaushik, Dr. K. Srinivas Rao, and Madam Divya Datta. We are grateful to you once again for being with us this morning. Prachin's endeavor to organize the 3-day second literary festival from today is an attempt to bring together the brightest stars on the country's literary firmament on a single platform and provide ourselves the opportunity to listen to and learn from them about the contemporary trends in Indian art and literature. It also gives us the opportunity to celebrate the plurality of languages in our country. This interface will not only encourage new ideas and their dissemination, but also create an atmosphere for intellectual exchange. Literature allows us to question some of our most prominent beliefs and examine our lives, giving them a deeper meaning. Literature is important and necessary. It provides growth, strengthens our minds, and gives us the ability to think out of the box. The SOA Literary Festival is not a place where we seek a consensus. It is not a festival where we are looking for one answer, as writing is a manifestation of the writer's original thought. Let's write what we like. Let's read what we want. Literature is a slice of life. It holds a mirror to life. Literature, as they say, is a seismograph of the society it portrays. We once again express our gratitude to SOA's founder president, Professor Dr. Manoj Ranjan Nayak, for facilitating this wonderful gathering of lovers of literature. Looking forward to the next edition of SOA Literary Festival, we wish to announce that from 2024, the SOA Sahitya Samman will be presented to an eminent literature of the country chosen by a national jury, and it will carry a cash component of ₹7 lakh. I feel overwhelmed while welcoming each and everyone to this serene function. All my colleagues have been trying hard to make this event a success and make your stay comfortable. There could still be slip-ups, which we pray may kindly forgive him. Thank you all for joining us at the inauguration of second SOA Literary Festival. Together we look forward to a great learning experience over the next 3 days. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Panda, for setting beautifully the tone for this event and also highlighting the efforts of Prachin. And yes, we would definitely like to thank the founder president of SOA University, Professor Manoj Ranjan Nayak, for this wonderful event. A big round of applause for him. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we are privileged to have the esteemed presence of one of India's iconic women writers, Dr. Pratibha Rai, a legend and household name in Odisha. She is the recipient of Padma Bhushan, prestigious Gyanpith, Murti Devi, Sahitya Academy Awards. She was one of the earliest writers to reimagine Draupadi in Jagyaseni. Known for her bold approach to writing, her works have been in quest for a social order based on equality, love, peace, and integration since she first penned at the age of 9. A rich legacy in literature apart, she made her mark as a devoted academician and is remembered for her commendable work with the Bonda tribe. Her Adi Bhumi, which is based on her research on the Bonda Kangari, is considered groundbreaking. One of the most widely read Odia novelists and short story writers, her work are of course deeply grounded in the great tradition of storytelling. Defining her brand of feminism as humanism, she believes every woman has the force of a goddess. May I humbly request her to present the inaugural address. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable MP Mr. Manas Mangaraj, who's here with us today. A very warm welcome to him.
Namaskar. At the outset, I congratulate strike a delicate balance between embracing the opportunities present by globalization and safeguarding the essence of our identity. Vibrant that must not be overshadowed by the allure of the new, but rather as a soul of cultural expression faces its own set of challenges. The quest for cohesion. An inclusive society where every citizen can contribute and flourish. Education as a cornerstone of social progress must empower individuals to think accept diversity and engage with the complexities of our interconnected world. Literature, the mirror reflecting the soul of our society, plays a pivotal role in shaping our collective consciousness. In an era dominated by digital media and rapidly changing modes of communication, literature faces the challenge of remaining relevant and impactful. However, it is precisely in these times of transformation that literature can become a guiding light, providing insight into the human experience, the transcend the ephemeral nature of trends. Literature is the foundation of cultures, beliefs, and traditions. It serves as a reflection of reality, a product of art, and a window to an ideology. Whatever the form, poetry or prose, literature provides insight, knowledge, or wisdom, and emotion. Human emotion is very important. Literature should address human emotion. Being dynamic, endless, and multidimensional, literature contributes significance to the world we live in. Literature and society are closely related and even influenced to each other. It is impossible to find a work of art or literature that excludes the attitudes, moral, and values of the society and its culture, since no writer has been brought up completely unexposed to the world around him. Literature is not only a reflection of society, but also serves as a corrective mirror to positive change. Our writers and thinkers bear the responsibility of not only chronicling the present but also envisioning a future that is both rooted in our cultural ethos and responsive to the evolving needs of society. Literature should be a catalyst for dialogue, fostering understanding and empathy across diverse perspectives. In this uniquely curated Swahili festival, let us embark on a collective journey that cherished the wealth of our cultural heritage, addresses the challenges of our society, and harnesses the transformative power of literature. By embracing the prospects and confronting the challenges with wisdom and unity, we can ensure that India continues to be a beacon of inspiration for generations to come. It is also an expression of culture because it documents human knowledge, belief, and behavior. Like literature, culture is to contested phenomena which is understood to mean different things by different groups. Culture is the integrated pattern of human belief and behavior. Culture embodies languages, ideas, beliefs, customs, taboos, codes, institutions, tools, techniques, works of art, and ritual. Culture consists of shared values, beliefs, knowledge, skills, and practices that underpin behavior by members of social group at a particular point of time. Many scholarly papers will be read and discussed here over the next 3 days. I am confident that the contribution of writers, translators, scholars, and critics, and great persons gathered here together will throw light on the well thought of theme of this prestigious literature festival organized by SOA University. The theme is very broad. It can be addressed from many angles, and it will be very. From the beginning, seeing this hall full of intellectuals and very serious persons, I think that it will be a very successful function. And I again congratulate SOA University and Professor Manoj Nayak and everybody present here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Your words continue to inspire us to strive for excellence, something which comes so naturally to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, amidst us on stage today is one of India's most prolific writers, Mr. Ashish Nandi, a political psychologist extraordinaire and social theorist of rarity. He's also an acclaimed author who has over 20 books credit. His works are known for breaching the conventional boundaries of social sciences and normal academic concerns. Described as the country's most formidable and controversial intellectual, its most arresting thinker, his research interests center on the political psychology of violence, culture of knowledge, utopias and vision, human potentialities and future. Professor Nandi, who was the first UNESCO chair at the Center for European Studies, University of Trier, Germany, has co-authored a number of human rights reports besides serving on a number of fact-finding commission and part of teams sent to monitor elections in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. The former director and senior fellow of the Center for the Study of Developing Society, he has received the Fukuoka Asian Cultural Prize and figured in the list of top 100 public intellectual poll of the Foreign Policy magazine. It'll be an honor to now request him to deliver the keynote address on the occasion of the inauguration of the second edition of the SOA Literary Festival. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you some of my thoughts. I can assure you that I am not going to say anything earth-shattering today. I will like, nonetheless, to point out some of the features of creativity of the kind which is not only something which for consumption, but which defines cultures and civilizations in its own terms. Frankly, everybody knows, whether it or may not even consciously or unconsciously, that what a person writes is always an expression of his own self. Sigmund Freud never wrote an autobiography. I found one or two books which in the title, Freud's books, the term autobiography is used, but actually they were not autobiographies, they were history of the psychoanalytic movement which Freud had led it. This is because a human being cannot write, whether he tries it or not, anything which does not express his own self. And it is our responsibility to find out what he is trying to say. Not that we will agree with the author, but we can at least have our vision or our theory of what the author is trying to say. I will give you an example. I once studied the life of Srinivas Ramanujan, the mathematician. Now, he has studied up to class 8. That's all. And only read about mathematics for school children by one unknown, almost unknown textbook writer, English textbook writer, some car. And he, on his own, then built on this unknown textbook writer a whole series of identities and equations which he himself was not sure where from they came. But they were all built from car. He built on it. Later on, it was discovered that many of these things are already known. But this man, let me tell you the way it went at that time. He sent it to first his findings to 2 Oxford professors. Now, mathematics is a discipline where there are a lot of neophytes trying to make a start by discovering something new or solving a problem which has not yet been solved. And these 2 Oxford professors saw it and thought it was a product of another eccentric person. They sent back his papers back to India. He then sent it to a very, very famous mathematician in England, again, one Hardy. Now, Hardy was in Trinity College, and he also thought immediately that this was the work of a crank or a hamster, because some of the things he has produced were known already, and the others are not known but have a touch of truth in them somewhere. Intuitively, he sent this. And he was about to send them back to India again. But while teaching in the class, Hardy felt that this man must be either a hoax, but a brilliant hoax, because there is something in these mathematical identities which deserve attention. Otherwise, the only other option is this, that he is a genius. And he felt that perhaps this order of scamster, this kind of a brilliant scamster, is more difficult to find in the world than this kind of a genius. And he called back the thing. Now, this is the way life began for Srinivas Ramanujan. And rest is well-known story. Everybody knows it. I won't have to go into that. Now, when he was asked, that where did you get this inspiration from? We have not read even some of the books, and some of the things you have written are known, but you have rediscovered the works of people like Euler and other famous global historians. Now, how did you get them? He said he dreamt of the local goddess of his village, Kamakkal. And in his dreams, and goddess Kamakkal opened her tongue, and in the tongue he found these identities written. So he would wake up and note down them. Now, this is a very difficult thing to digest for a Western academic university, and very difficult to delve with. Even Hardy, who was a great admirer of his and remained his friend throughout life, have felt that this is all nonsense. All Ramanujan needed was a good mathematical training and education. Now, I was not satisfied with this, and I was wondering why this dream he got. Because I'm a psychologist, it is my responsibility, and a Freudian too. So I wanted to find out what could be the possible meanings. And in my book on the subject, this is one of my first books on alternative sciences. So I kind of gave an explanation that it was a part of his own way of handling the thing. But that's about all. But later on, I suspected that he came from such a humble background and from a village at that time, that he did not dare to own this up as his work. Even when we were sending the work to world's two of the best-known universities, Oxford and Cambridge, there was insecurity about it. And that insecurity came from the fact that he was semi-literate, even in mathematics. And he was, and my proposition now would be that he actually couldn't imagine himself as the creator of these numbers, given his background and given his self-confidence. And therefore, he had to set up goddess Namakkal as the one who actually really solved these problems or offered these identities, which he had a sense that were correct. At that time, India didn't have much of a proving it. He didn't have that technology. So that's the way I'm trying to say. So this is what his insecurity did. That he set a part of himself as goddess Namakkal. He projected it into goddess Namakkal so that he could live with this enormous boon, so to speak, of a gift of the goddess, not as only his. So this, I give an example that the writer's inspiration is the writer's inspiration. And also, unlike team efforts, many arts and many forms of literature have, it is a team effect. Cinema is a team effect. Theater is a team effort. But There are another art forms where it is more individual, where the creator faces himself and is not only the creating himself, creating something, but he is actually being led by his creation. You do not then remain, you do not create, you allow your creativity to guide you to create. That's a different kind of, where you have lost your views, so to speak, and handed it over to the work you are doing. The work itself leads you to other way. So there is that part of story. And I would like to give you some instances of this, that there are efforts nowadays in India that there is, which I can only describe as a pathetic effort to contain dissent, contain what people are writing. I'm afraid all these efforts are in some ways useless, because when the writer writes and it is called dissent, it is not something which is coming from outside. That it is not government propaganda or a journalist's effort to take a position, political position. It is a true writer is captive to his dissent, or what you call dissent. He is captive to it. He cannot avoid it. You look at this case of this Gujarati poet who wrote this poem. Certainly, he was a great admirer of the BJP, consistently voted for BJP, a great admirer of Narendra Modi, actually his fan. And one day he writes this poem in Gujarati of Ganga Shababahini, when the dead bodies were floating on Ganges. And immediately, whole environment changed. A huge number of Gujaratis were hostile to her, trolled her, day in, day out. And all the goodwill she had, she lost. I have not read not single word of hers after that. Now, where from she got this courage to write this poem, or whether she thought of it as dissent or something she could not but write. So I would leave it to you to decide. But that is the nature of creativity. That is the nature of writing. And this is not only about writing, this is about at least 3 or 4 art forms where you have this division. That the great art, like painting and sculpture, where the great artists, even I would say it in some cases of philosophy, the great thinkers are captive to their work. I am now in mid-80s, and I do receive lot of requests from publishers to write my autobiography. Now, I, being a follower of sorts of Freud, believe his dictum that you cannot write an autobiography without being defensive about yourself, without being ego defensive. So I've always avoided that invitation of publishers. I don't want to write an autobiography. I say at least mostly I say that, well, I have written enough. You can construct my autobiography from that. I don't have to write an autobiography because then I will be defending myself. No, it's not necessary. And I'm quite happy with that position. That's okay. But I hope you can hear me. Is it okay? Light changes suddenly. Anyway, so now I would now like to end this brief presentation by mentioning 3 or 4 at a time major sources of dissent. Why dissent is everywhere. Even when you don't like it, you might have dissent in your home family, in your next generation of your family. You are never sure of that. Why? And it is this that I have found that basically I am talking of the South Asia, whole as Bharat, which we used to call Bharatvarsha. The Varsha has been dropped. Only Bharat is there, and India is there. But it is going by the principle of nation state. Now, nation is the major unit. When we sing the India, we are only but India is more than nation state. It is the confluence of civilizations, and that is its major strength, because its descent comes from, as well as its creativity comes from, how it handles these different strains of culture, different strains of imagination, different strains of this future vision of what this part of the world should be like. Now, in this sector, I will probably give this brief example to end with it. There is, I find, 4 major sources of dissent, to which almost all dissenters ultimately take recourse to, for some reason or other. Not that, I'm not talking of those who are ideologues, who have a ready-made ideology and have to talk from within it. I am talking of ordinary creative writers, creative thinkers, creative artists, creative sculptors, and so on and so forth. Their dissent comes from these 4 sources in mainly. The first of them is a substratum of the civilization, which technically and historically has exited from India in 1,000 years ago, namely Buddhism. But that Buddhism survives, and the underlying strain throughout the whole of South Asia. And the first person to use Buddhist Jataka tales for dissent explicitly in modern terms by Tagore was by taking this Jataka tales in his plays, in his dance dramas, and some of the other writings he produced. So this was one. And from that, to Ambedkar, this strain, underlying subterranean presence of Buddhism has remained in India. This was one. Two, it is customary to say that when we talk of traditions and cultures and civilizational assets, we begin with the Vedas and Upanishads. In fact, one particular reform version, two of them, two specific, I should say actually three reform movements, were all started from the Vedas and the Upanishads. That, namely, the Brahmo Samaj, the Brahmo Samaj, and then well, all the way up to, I would say, Vivekananda also. They did, not Ramakrishna, but Vivekananda. And he specifically denounced Buddhism as feminizing India. That, yeah. And yet, nonetheless, the second most important part, Tagore defied this, and others also did this, and Gandhi too. Namely, they said that the present unity which you see in South Asia, they were talking of another India, that's whole of South Asia. It must, you have to source it not to the Vedas and the Upanishads, but medieval Bhakti movement and Sufi movement. Even the Ramayana and Mahabharata, nobody had access to Sanskrit version of them or the Bhagavad versions of it. Ram Puja was there much before Valmiki wrote his Ramayana in Sanskrit. Similarly, Krishna Puja was there for centuries, where there was no Bhagavad. It was done later on. And strangely enough, I will add to it that the first discovery of Gandhi was also accidentally before Gandhi actually came to India. Anybody knew of Gandhi? Again by Tagore. Because its poetic imagination he has got grasped that this is the kind of person who is going to come as a liberator. One particular book of poetry had 13 poems of this kind. And he also has other plays in which a Gandhi character. This was first discovered by one of his, one writer, Pranotana Bishi, who was in Shantiniketan. And he, after Tagore's death, wrote a small introduction to his thing, that this discovery of the prototype of a Gandhi came first, and then came Gandhi. And but anyway, that way. And the final one is that the attempt by people like Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay and others to masculinize Krishna and prioritizing the Krishna, the Rajan Krishna of Mahabharata, had not destroyed the androgynous strain in Indian descent, Indian descent also comes from androgynous. Nathuram Godse, name Nathuram came because his mother used to wear a nose ring. He never forgave himself for that because he was a Gandhian first. Then he became a Savarkarite and he wanted to exclude this part of himself. And the vengeance became masculinize himself. Anyway, so that androgynous strain still remains. Incidentally, I might as well add this part of the story that this androgynous strain is seen as one of the most powerful indicators of creativity the mankind has found in research. Because that gives a different kind of strength. So women who have a masculine strength and men who are a feminine touch become great creative writers, so on and so forth. It has been found a common trait amongst Nobel laureates, for instance. Anyway, I have given you this 4 strains of descent. I have talked to you about the impossibility of trying to suffocate or smother dissent, either because of the kind of regimes you are having or because you are afraid of what you are doing and you are not sure of what it will lead to. But nonetheless, I hope that some of you will think through and decide for yourself what to do with this. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for that very engaging and thought-provoking address. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for some book releases as part of the inaugural ceremony. I'll request all our esteemed guests on dais to do the honors and release a set of books here. So the first one, ladies and gentlemen, is the Sarala Mahabharat's critical edition, Proposal Across Ages, which is being published by since 2021. May I please invite on stage Mr. Gauranga Charan Das, Mr. Pradipta Kumar Panda, and Mr. Santosh Kumar Rathod, the scholars who have the critical edition for the release. I request them to please join us on stage, and we'll request the volunteers to bring the book as well for the release. Can we have the books, please? This book contains the primary source material of scholars of repute from 1884 till 1978 in connection with the importance of the critical edition of Mahabharata of Sarala Das, popularly known as Adi Kavi of Odia literature of 15th century. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Sarala Mahabharat's critical edition, Proposal Across Ages, published by SOA since 2021. Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Das, Mr. Panda, and Mr. Rathod for joining in. The next 4 books have been authored by Dr. Gayatri Balapanda and translated into different languages. The first one is Dayali, a collection of Odia poetry for which Dr. Panda received the Kendra Sahitya Akademi Award in 2022. For this, can I invite on stage eminent Punjabi poet and translator Dr. Vanita and Sanskrit professor at Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri Rashtriya Sanskrit Vidyapeeth, Professor Bhagirathi Nanda, to also join for the release. This has been translated into Punjabi and Sanskrit, published by Kendriya Sahitya collection of Odia poems. It uses the iconic river Daya, on the banks of which the Kalinga War was fought over 2,000 years back, as a metaphor. Dr. Panda goes on an evocative journey of language, words, and emotions to trace the soul and spirit of Odisha and the enduring identity of the Kalingan race. Dayanadi, Punjabi, and Sanskrit. Yes, there are two, Punjabi and Sanskrit both. And this is the one for which she received the Kendra Sahitya Academy Award in 2022. I'll thank Dr. Vanita and Professor Bhagirathi Nanda for joining in for this one. We'll move to the next one. This one has been translated into Hindi, Bagho, or in Hindi as we call Bag. May I invite on stage the translator, Dr. Rajendra Prasad Mishra, former registrar of the Mahatma Gandhi Antarashtriya Hindi Vishwavidyalaya, and Mr. Amod Maheshwari, CEO of Rajkamal Prakashan, New Delhi, that has published this book for the release. Bagh, Bagho, tiger in English, Anthology of Poems, is yet another work of Dr. Panda that delves deep into the human mind using tiger as a symbol. It explores majestic predator's behavior and juxtaposes it with that of the man and traces different shades, creating an integrating narrative of the society. Thank you. I'll request Dr. to stay back for this one as well. The next one will be a collection of poems into Hindi, Aasan Nahi Itihas Likhna. So, along with Mr. Mishra, I'll request Mr. Patra from the publisher, Pralek Prashan Mumbai, to join us on stage. The works of Dr. Panda have been known for stirring the soul through limited words, along with she's also unthinkable direction of women's consciousness directly or indirectly in the verses, symbols, and images of her poetry. Aasan nahi itihas likhna. I'd like to thank Dr. Mishra and Mr. Patra for doing this. And the last one, ladies and gentlemen, is a book of selected short stories, My Truth, My Story, translated into English by eminent writer and translator, Dr. Sneha Prabha Das. I request her to join on stage. Published by Black Eagle Books. If Mr. Ashok Parida is there from Black Eagle Books, I'll also request him to join on stage. The stories in My Truth, My Story display the storyteller's relentless endeavor to unravel and define some such truths of human existence that, though conditioned our living, yet ordinarily escape observation. Dr. Panda has been quite successful in her effort to bring those truths to surface. My Truth, My Story. Thank you to all our esteemed guests for doing the honors. Book releases are an integral part of a literary festival. All right. Moving on, we are truly privileged to have amidst us today Dr. K. Srinivas Rao, Secretary, Sahitya Akademi, New Delhi, a thinker, scholar, literary expert, and administrator with experience of over 3 decades in several positions of literary management and administration of national level literary institution. He has been the Secretary of Sahitya Akademi since February 2013 and has been serving the institution for more than 3 decades. He is the author of Myth, Plays, and Girish Karnad. His forthcoming titles include Bharatiya Sahitya Evam Sanskriti and Perspective Essay.
Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Pratibha Rai ji, eminent Odia writer, Professor Ashish Nandi ji, eminent social theorist and critic, Sri Madhav Kaushik ji, eminent Hindi writer and President Sahitya Akademi, Ms. Divya Datta ji, well-known actor and author, Professor P.K. Nanda ji, Vice Chancellor, Shiksha O Anusandhan University, Dr. Gayatri Bala Panda, eminent Odia writer, head Prachin Shiksha Anusandhan, and also the instrumental in having this most significant literary festival. Professor Jyoti Ranjan Das, Dean Student Welfare, Shiksha Anusandhan University, all the participants, distinguished writers and scholars, assembled faculty and students of Shiksha O Anusandhan University, ladies and gentlemen. Friends, literature at the fundamental level reflects realities, physical, psychological, and social realities. As such, literature at once is a propagator of social phenomena and also the repository of culture of the given society. If one looks closely, one can find out that literary creations reflect and represent social structures, physical conditions, and the core of belief systems of people of the given communities at the time of creation of literary pieces. All these put together encompass human life, and its own unique way, literature celebrates human existence and all that comprise human humanity. So, literature festivals are celebrations of life and celebrations of literature. When one focuses more on the role literature plays in human life, one can see that literature is more than mere descriptions of reality. As C.S. Lewis once wrote, I quote, "It adds to reality, it does not simply describe it. It enriches the necessary competencies that daily life requires and provides. This irrigates the desires that our lives have already become," unquote. That is a fine as far as individuals are concerned, but literature and literary festivals also cater to collective aspirations of the societies. In that, they also serve as reservoirs of culture and as preservation of cultural traditions and expressions. Cultures gets expressed through language in the form of stories, poems, songs, and plays. When writers and poets hailing from various linguistic traditions and cultures meet and exchange ideas, the thoughts and philosophies from one culture and region get translated and exported to other regions and languages. India is a land of diverse cultures and philosophies. In every region and in every era, there flourish number of linguistic, literary, philosophical, and cultural traditions. What was in ancient India called as sadhas was the equivalent of today's literary festivals, and they provided numerous platforms in a number of subjects including poetry, plays, performance, various art forms, philosophical treatises, etc., to large number of scholars to exchange ideas, and such interactions enriched every single cultural milieu in the country. Further, when ideas and thoughts are exchanged freely, they lower bigotry and hidebound thoughts, and on the other hand, enhance understanding and acceptance of diverse ideas and cultural practices. In today's world, filled with hatred and sharp divisions, that is what is needed, and that is the function that literary festivals should perform. Literary festivals should not promote division and hatred, but instead should promote amity, peace, cooperation, and mutual benefit. Literature festivals are not only about authors, and they provide wonderful thousands of avid readers to meet their favorite authors in person, get to know more about the process of creative writing and how their favorite stories were formed and how the characters developed. Literary festivals also help the writers, especially aspiring writers, and also enrich the literary and cultural milieus in each of the linguistic communities of the country. I just mentioned that literary festivals bring together best of minds, different languages and cultures on a single platform. Such a conglomeration leads to exchange of ideas and newer techniques deployed in a particular literary milieu among larger group of writers, poets, translators, critics, and scholars. That in turn leads to newer ideas, newer ways of writing, and interpreting traditions, revisiting and refreshing older paradigms, and without such interactions, paradigm shifts are not possible, even though Kuhn said paradigm shifts always take place outside the discourse. Reading a variety of literary creations help young people by widening their horizons, igniting their imagination and creativity, showing them newer ways of thinking and conceptualizing, providing them opportunity to evaluate the present and place their societies and communities in historical context, find out various discoveries and inventions over thousands of years, and thereby arousing their curiosity and increasing their interest in a number of things. Literary festivals help that group of people in a society by taking best of these literary creations, bringing best of creative minds and authors, historians, linguists, publishers, and others to various regions of the country. This provides opportunity to young students to meet the authors and scholars, interact with them, and learn what they were wishing, and also pick up the classics they are interested in. No doubt, digital world where blogs and social media have obliterated the distance between the author and reader, it is literary festival that bring writers and readers face to face, and interaction in the virtual world can never equal to the direct physical interactions. Given all these things, there should be more and more literary festivals across the country. Even in the monolinguistic and monocultural societies, it's true, but highly relevant and important in a multilingual and multicultural society like India. When literary festivals happen in all the languages and regions of the country, it is writers who stands benefited, as these literary festivals can give platforms to the regional writers who would not otherwise have got a chance to express themselves at a national platform if there were only a handful of literary festivals. Also, when more literary festivals happen within a given language and culture, it leads to higher interaction among the scholars themselves, and that in turn enriches literary milieu. So, the fear of lowering the standard of literature through the proliferation of literary festivals in all the languages and regions of the country is unfounded. Actually, opposite is the true, and each linguistic and cultural community and tradition that gets enriched So everyone should welcome more and more literary festivals in each region and culture of India. Shiksha Sandhan is already doing commendable job under the able leadership of Professor Manoj Naik ji and its founding president in the field of education, medicine and social welfare. Literary festivals of this nature will not only raise their stature, but will definitely enrich the culture of Odisha. These are some of the reasons why this Shiksha Sandhan Literary Festival is the need of the hour. The theme for this year's literary festival is Indian culture, society and literature, prospects and challenges. Whatever I have said till now is applicable to the first part of the theme. As far the challenges part is concerned, large number of cultural traditions and languages is the first challenge. What I mean is that the Odia cultural components, or for that matter, cultural components of any state should be relatable to the subject of that culture. Another challenge is to bring the best of literature from other cultures and societies. Here I mean by literature, all kinds of literature, that is novels, stories, poetry, plays, criticism, religious literature, economic literature, historical literature, and so on. When the society leads and borrows ideas and thoughts, then that society is bound to grow by leaps and bounds. Social progress will ensure equality for all and also material progress. So, Odia needs thoughts and ideas from everywhere. True to the Vedic dictum of let knowledge come from everywhere. It is knowledge that will help the individuals and societies to progress. Literary festivals play a vital part in the process. So, overall, Odia people should ensure that Shiksha Sandhan Literature Festival succeeds and the organizers can organize multiple editions of this literary festival in different parts of the Odisha every year to begin with. I wish Shiksha Sandhan, particularly Dr. Gayatri Balapanda and also its founding president, Professor Manoj Naik ji, and the team that is working behind this festival, and also their future endeavors. With these few words, I conclude my speech, and I thank Shiksha Sandhan for keeping me in their mind and inviting me. Thank you for patiently listening to me. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. K. Srinivas Rao, for that wonderful address. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is versatility personified. An actor, author, and a poet, Miss Divya Datta has always made her voice and presence count, whatever be the medium. Recipient of a national award, she has acted in more than 100 feature films in Hindi and Punjabi language, including Veer Zara, Bhag Milka Bhag, Delhi Sales, Badlapur, Stanley Ka Dabba, and so many, many more. She's also been part of a short film, Sheet Korma, which has been doing the rounds in film festival. She also has an interesting lineup of feature films, short films, web series that we can all look forward to in recent time. As a poet, her first poem titled Sab Theek Hoga Na, which was centered on the lockdown following the outbreak of COVID-19, was highly appreciated. Her memoir, Me and Ma, 2017, was one of the most talked about books of that year. She launched her second book in November 21 titled The Stars in My Sky. So it would be our pleasure to request such a powerhouse of talent to address this lovely gathering today. So over to you, ma'am, and
Very good morning, everyone. I think it's better to come here and talk. I think I'll hide half of me here. So, first of all, heartiest congratulations to SOA Literary Festival, to Professor Manojji, to Gayatri ma'am, to all the eminent personalities who are present on stage, as well as in the audience. I have some people I know here, Atul Tiwari, who has been an eminent writer, who I have worked with a lot in movies. And last but not the least, this amazing audience of students. So a big round of applause to all of you, because I miss being there. I miss being a student again, though I'm a student of life. But it's lovely to be there because that's where your dreams begin. That's where mine began too. I come from a family of doctors, and I was given the freedom to make a choice. And I chose literature. I chose psychology. I chose philosophy. And my mother was really, really very, very supportive about it. She gave me wings to fly. That's where, when I sat there, I decided I want to be the head girl, and I became. That's where I decided I want to be a dancer, and I became. That's where I decided I want to be an actor. And I think when you really want something passionately, the universe conspires, but you have to have the passion for that. So yes, and along just as life happened, I didn't realize I was writing. I was writing for school magazines, I was writing for college magazines. The professors would say, just get that girl to just write one short story for the college book. So there was something I liked expressing, and clearly I think it touched a chord. Then I became a columnist with various newspapers like Times of India, HT, Tribune in Chandigarh. And once I was at the airport, and this lady just came and hugged me tight. I thought she was probably congratulating me for a performance or something. But she just came and said, thank you for writing that column, because thanks to you, I went on a solo holiday because I've been waiting for my husband forever. And you wrote, just be best friends with yourself, and I am. I was so amazed. I was so amazed with the power of connectivity that you have as a writer. The connect you have with the readers, just like you have with your audience. So I think I've had the best of both worlds. My biggest fear was losing my mother. She was a single parent. And I wanted to celebrate her. And I don't know how, but instinctively, as Sir mentioned, Mr. Nandi mentioned, that things come instinctively, you're not even aware of it. So yes, I thought I must celebrate my mother, and I wrote my first book, which is called Me and Ma. And the connect that that book had with everyone was something that didn't make me just a one book author. And I was asked by my publishers, the Penguin Book House, that what is your next film? What is your next book? And I thought, what am I most passionate about? And that is the world of movies. So I wrote this book called The Stars in My Sky, which now I use for all my motivational speeches and talks where I go for, which I think I have tried to get every experience that I smile through this journey, which I might call tough or easy or whatever, but beautiful nevertheless. So all those experiences that I've had are in that book. What I want to say is that from author to being, from being an actor to being an author has been a beautiful journey. And I think whichever Lit Fest that I have been to, the authors, the writers have really opened their arms for me very warmly. And it feels that now somewhere I belong. I belong to this field, and my next book is going to be a book of short stories for children. So I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep experimenting, and I just request all you students out there that always, always keep dreaming. Always have that heart made of fire hota hai. I just keep that on and have the passion to follow your dream. I feel beautiful when I look from here to that side. That it's been a journey that I feel beautiful, and I would wish you all the same. So just want to end this. I have a after this, so I'm sure I'm going to see you guys. But just want to say, जज्बा दिल घर में जाऊं, हर चीज़ मुकाबिल आ जाए, मंजिल के लिए दो काम चलूं और सामने मंजिल आ जाए. Thank you very much, and yes, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was so, so wonderful. And yes, as she's just said, I'm sure a lot of you would be looking forward to the next session with her later in the day. So moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we are truly honored that President of the Sahitya Akademi, Mr. Madhav Kaushik, has graced the inaugural ceremony of Literary Festival. An eminent Hindi writer and poet, he has more than 30 publications to his credit, including collection of poems, short stories, criticism, children literature, translation, and edited books. Be it his ghazals or his poems, his writing has the power to evoke myriad emotions in the hearts of readers. A recipient of Shiromani Sahityakar Samman, Mahakavi Surdas Samman, Subramaniam Bharati National Award of Kendriya Hindi Sansthan, Ajivan Sahitya Sadhana Samman by Haryana Sahitya Academy, among others. He is also a jury member of Bharatiya Gyanpith and member of Governing Council of IGNOU, New Delhi. It'll be an honor to now request him for his address.
नमस्कार आदरणीय बहन प्रतिभा राय जी, डॉक्टर आशीष नंदी जी, दिव्या दत्ता जी, के श्रीनिवास राव साहब, ज्योति रंजन दास साहब और पूरे विश्वविद्यालय के नौजवान साथियों, मैं हिंदी में बात करूंगा। इतनी आसान हिंदी बोलूंगा जैसे आप फिल्मों में देखते हैं, तो आपको पूरी तरह समझ आएगी। दोस्तों, वाकई पहले जब ये यूनिवर्सिटी से मेरे पास ये आमंत्रण पत्र आया तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा भी लगा, क्योंकि आजकल जितनी हिंदुस्तान में यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, हर 10 किलोमीटर के बाद एक बड़ा विश्वविद्यालय है। मैं सोचता हूँ कि इस देश में 2 उद्योग बहुत तेज़ी से फैले हैं, एक शिक्षा उद्योग और दूसरा राम उद्योग। शिक्षा उद्योग की तरह से मेरे दिमाग में यही था, पर जब मुझे पता लगा कि एक विश्वविद्यालय इतना बड़ा आयोजन कर रहा है तो मैं हैरान भी रहा। ऐसे आयोजन लगभग 95% विश्वविद्यालय नहीं करते हैं, तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। और अच्छे लगने के पीछे एक और रीज़न था। कुछ दिन पहले पूरी दुनिया के आतंकवादियों की एक लिस्ट मेरी नज़र से गुजरी। आप जानेंगे उसमें से 99% इंजीनियर्स हैं, डॉक्टर्स हैं, साइंटिस्ट हैं। मेरे मन में आया कि इन विश्वविद्यालयों में अगर लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल होते, कोई इन्हें किताब दे देता, कोई अच्छी सी कविता सुना देता, तो शायद इनके अंदर का जो शैतान था वो गायब हो जाता और इंसान सामने आता। तो मैं इस विश्वविद्यालय को इसलिए भी साधुवाद देता हूँ कि उसने इन इंजीनियर्स को, टेक्नोक्रेट्स को, साइंटिस्ट को इंसान बनाने का काम भी किया है। बहुत मुश्किल है इंसान बनना। गालिब तो कहते हैं कि मयस्सर नहीं इंसान होना, आदमी को ही मयस्सर नहीं इंसान होना। तो दोस्तों, ये जो साहित्य है ये एक ही काम करता है, ये आदमी को इंसान में तब्दील कर देता है। वो रोबोट नहीं रहता, उसके अंदर जो पत्थर जमे हुए उनको पिघला देता है, उसकी आंखों में आंसू आने लगते हैं। वो काम नहीं कर सकता जो इंसान को नहीं करना चाहिए। हमारी संस्कृति में, हमारे साहित्य में, हमारे समाज में डॉक्टर आशीष नंदी मनोवैज्ञानिक है, उन्होंने जो समाज शास्त्र हमें आज बताया, पहले भी बताया है, उनसे बड़ा कोई समाज शास्त्री नहीं हो सकता। बहन प्रतिभा राय ने भी साहित्य के बारे में, राव साहब ने भी बहुत सारी बातें बताई। मैं आपको एक व्यवहारिक रूप साहित्य का बताना चाहूँगा कि साहित्य काम कैसे करता है। हिंदुस्तान अकेला ऐसा मुल्क है, ऐसी संस्कृति है जो एक तरह की नहीं है। पूरी दुनिया की सारी कल्चर्स, सारे रिलीजन्स, सारे जीवन शैलियाँ हजारों रहती हैं। मैक्स मुलर की एक किताब है जो उसने लेक्चर दिए थे, इंडिया इट कैन टीच अस। जब उसे पढ़ते हैं तो हमें लगता है हम अपनी बड़ाई खुद करना अब लगे हैं, पहले नहीं करते थे। अब तो हम घर बैठे डिक्लेयर कर देते हैं हम विश्व गुरु हैं। हमें विश्व गुरु तब माना जाता था जब हम गुलाम थे। तब लोग हमें बताते थे कि विश्व गुरु हैं। तो मुलर, रोला, डार्डवेल, इनको पढ़ते हुए आपको लगेगा कि ये मुल्क किन किन मरहलों से गुजर के कितनी ऊंचाई तक पहुंचा है। दुनिया का अकेला ऐसा देश है, एक ऐसी संस्कृति है जिसमें कबीरे, मनीषी, स्वयंभू, परमभू, लेखकों को, कवियों को ईश्वर के बराबर का दर्जा देता है। वो उसे प्रजापति कहता है और ये मान के चलता है कि साहित्यकार के पास वो दृष्टि है कि वो समानांतर संसार की रचना करता है, बराबर की रचना करता है। पूरे हिंदुस्तान के साहित्य की जब हम गणना करते हैं, हमारी साहित्य अकादमी की आपने किताबें देखी होंगी, हमारी हर किताब के पीछे हम एक राधा कृष्णन जी का कोट छापते हैं, इंडियन लिटरेचर इज वन दो इट इज रिटन इन मैनी लैंग्वेजेस। भारतीय साहित्य एक है, वो बहुत सारी भाषाओं में लिखा जाता है। अब ये इतना बड़ा सम्मेलन हो रहा है जिसमें हिंदुस्तान की हर जबान का लेखक है, हर तरह की विधा का लेखक है, कागज से लेके कैनवस तक रचनाकार यहाँ हैं, थिएटर से लेके सेलुलाइड तक के लोग हैं। जब वो बात करेंगे तो आपको लगेगा जैसे गुवाहाटी से चौपाटी और कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक के जितने रचनाकार हैं, जहाँ भी हैं, जिस भी ज़बान में लिखते हैं, उनकी बात एक ही तरह की होती है, एक ही तरह से उनका दिल धड़कता है। और हिंदुस्तान के तो दो चार बड़े अजीब से, मेरे फादर साहब उर्दू के बड़े विद्वान थे। जब मैं पढ़ता था तो उनकी बातें उस समय मुझे समझ नहीं आती थी और मैं मन नहीं था, हमारी पीढ़ी बाप के सामने नहीं बोलती थी, लेकिन मन में सोचती थी कि हमारे बुजुर्ग ऐसे ही मारते रहते हैं। एक दिन कहने लगे, और उर्दू का आदमी शाम के बाद अंग्रेजी बहुत शानदार बोलता है, ये भी एक सच्ची बात है। तो एक दिन कहने लगे कि डू यू नो एवरीवन कैन फाइंड ए जॉब और एम्प्लॉयमेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू हिज qualifications, educational qualifications, according to his attitude and aptitude. Only writers are chosen by the nature. This is the only profession. केवल साहित्यकार ऐसे हैं जिसको प्रकृति चुनती है, बाकी तो अपनी शिक्षा के अनुसार, एटीट्यूड के अनुसार कोई ना कोई काम धंधा चुन लेते हैं। फिर कहने लगे, जो आदमी प्रकृति ने चुन लिया, अगर वो ईमानदारी से काम नहीं करता तो सबसे बड़ा अपराधी है। और ईमानदारी से काम करने का उन्होंने दो अर्थ बताए। कहते हैं पूरे भारतीय साहित्य को मैं दो लफ्जों में बताना चाहता हूँ कि हाउ इट ओरिजिनेट्स। हमारे आदि कवि वाल्मीकि ने क्रोंच वध का एक दृश्य देखा। क्रोंच पक्षी जब प्रेम आलाप कर रहे थे, तभी एक शिकारी ने उन्हें तीर मारा। उनकी करुणापूर्ण आवाज़, आर्तनाद जब सुना, महाकवि का हृदय पिघल उठा। उन्होंने 3 महाकाव्यों की रचना की। वो कहते थे, जब एक पक्षी की करुण कंदन ने एक महाकवि को इतना उद्वेलित कर दिया, तो मानवों के क्रंदन से आप उद्वेलित क्यों नहीं होते? आपकी कलम क्यों नहीं चलती? उसका प्रतिरोध क्यों नहीं करते? ये करुणा का जो एस्पेक्ट है, ये भारतीय साहित्य का मूल है और ये भारतीय संस्कृति का भी मूल है। भारतीय संस्कृति के अंदर करुणा नहीं होती तो इतनी सारी सभ्यताओं को इकट्ठा कैसे करता वो? V.S. स्मिथ तो कहता है दैट इज ए पावर ऑफ एसिमिलेशन। इतनी जबरदस्त जो आदमी जाता है हिंदुस्तान का हो जाता है। तो ये बात, ये करुणा की बात उन्होंने कही। दूसरी बात एक उन्होंने और कही, उन्होंने अकबर इलाहाबादी का एक शेर कोट किया। कहते हैं, उन्होंने मेरी बहुत सारी किताबें, जब आदमी एमए करता है तो पढ़ता कम है, किताबों का ढेर ज़्यादा रखता है। किताबों के ढेर की तरफ इशारा करके कहते हैं, दर्द दिल में दे जाए अकबर, दर्द को दिल में दे जगह अकबर, इल्म से शायरी नहीं आती। तो दूसरे को दर्द को अपने दिल में जगह देने का मतलब भी वही करुणा है, उसी करुणा का विस्तार है। आप जो लिख रहे हैं ये करुणा का विस्तार है। दूसरे के पाँव में कांटा चुभता है, कवि की आंख में आंसू आता है, कवि रात को तड़ा। और एक और कमाल की बात है, दुनिया के किसी कोने में अन्याय होता है, इस देश में कहीं भी कोई उत्पीड़न होता है, अत्याचार होता है, हर लेखक रात को अपनी राइटिंग टेबल पे बैठ के, अपने कमरे में बैठ के उसके खिलाफ उसी दिन निर्णय दे देता है, उसका प्रतिरोध करता है। न्यायालय में तो याचिकाएं पता नहीं कब डलेंगी, और हिंदुस्तान के न्यायालय फैसले अधिक करते हैं, न्याय कम करते हैं। लेकिन वो जो पोइटिक जस्टिस है वो पोइट उसी दिन कर देता है, ये वो प्रतिरोध है उसका। एक और आपको बताऊं, इस पूरी दुनिया के साहित्य को जब हम समझने लगे तो एक बहुत आसान सी चीजें सामने आती हैं। पूरी दुनिया का साहित्य दो शब्दों पे, उन दो शब्दों ने बहुत कमाल का काम किया। एक शब्द है असहमति और दूसरा शब्द है स्वायत्तता। आशीष नंदी जी ने जो डाइसेंट की बात कही, ये सेलिब्रेशन ऑफ वर्ड्स एंड आइडियाज़ है। सेलिब्रेशन तब होता है जब अलग अलग तरह के विचार होते हैं, और वर्ड्स का सेलिब्रेशन जब होता है जब बहुत सारी साहित्यिक भाषाएं इकट्ठी होती हैं और अलग अलग अपनी लिटरेरी ट्रेडिशंस को लेके आती हैं। उसमें भी असहमति है। साहित्यकार हमेशा असहमति का सम्मान करता है, और असहमति का सम्मान वही समाज करता है जो बहुत उदार होता है, जिसके दिमाग के दरवाजे खुले होते हैं, जो कट्टरपन में यकीन नहीं रखता, जिसका मन करुणा से भरा हुआ है। बहुत आसान लफ्जों में साहित्य को समझा जा सकता है। दोस्तों, ये वो चीज़ें हैं जिन्होंने पूरी दुनिया के इतिहास, वोल्टेयर एक जगह लिखते हैं कि मैं आपकी असहमति का सम्मान अपनी जान के जोखिम उठाने तक करूंगा, लेकिन आपकी असहमति का सम्मान करूंगा। और ये जो ऑटोनॉमी है, जो स्वायत्तता है, लेखकीय स्वतंत्रता है, पूरी दुनिया के हजारों हजार लेखकों ने कितनी कुर्बानियां दी होंगी, आप सोच सकते हैं। कितनी प्रताड़ना सही है। कभी लेखकों के लिए कभी अच्छा वक्त ना किसी युग में था, ना आज है। लेखकों के लिए सुविधाजनक स्थिति कभी नहीं रही। लेखक हमेशा सत्ता के आंखों की में रड़कने वाला एक ऐसा कण है। वो अपनी बात इसलिए कहता है क्योंकि वो आम आदमी का प्रवक्ता है, स्पोक्समैन ऑफ द कॉमन मैन। उसको गूंगों की आवाज भी सुनाई देती है, उसको उस आदमी का दुख दर्द भी दिखाई देता है जिसको देखने के लिए किसी की आंख नहीं है। उस प्रवक्ता होने का सबसे बड़ा सबूत यही है कि वो पूरी दुनिया में अभिनंदित है, पूरी दुनिया उसके सामने झुकती है, आम आदमी उसके चरण स्पर्श करता है, और भारतीय संस्कृति उसे प्रजापति का स्थान देती है। He is the conscience keeper of the common man। आम आदमी के जितने सपने हैं, दुख दर्द है, कष्ट हैं, पीड़ाएं हैं, तो है तब अपने साहित्य में उगलता है। तो मित्रों, ये वो चीजें हैं जिसने साहित्य को ये ऊंचाई प्रदान की है और साहित्यकार को देवता के दर्जे तक पहुंचाया है। इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं। दुनिया के हर समाज में थोड़ा बहुत परिवर्तन होता रहता है। आज हम उसी संक्रमण के दौर से गुजर रहे हैं। उर्दू का एक साहित्यकार लिखता है कि यूनान, मिस्र, रोमा सब मिट गए जहाँ से, बाकी रहा है अब तक नामो निशां हमारा। ये नामो निशां इसीलिए बचा है कि हमारे अंदर करुणा है, प्रेम है, उदारता है। कई बार हमें लगता है खत्म होती जा रही है, हिंदुस्तान में अच्छी बात ये है कि यहाँ की कुछ दिनों के लिए आती है, चली जाती है, हम भूल भी जाते हैं कि हुआ था। तो सारी चीजें होती हैं, चली जाती हैं, बदलती रहती हैं, लेकिन हिंदुस्तान आदमी का जो करैक्टर है, उसकी सोच और संवेदना है, वो वही पे वापस आ जाती है जो सैकड़ों हजारों सालों से चलती हुई आ रही है। फिर वो क्रंच पक्षी का करुण करता है तो भी रोता है, आम इंसान की दुख की आवाज़ सुनता है तो भी रोता है। दोस्तों, साहित्यकार के लिए चैलेंज ना कभी ख़त्म हुए थे, ना हो सकते हैं, ना होंगे। ज्यों ज्यों समाज बदलेगा उसकी चुनौतियां बदलती रहेंगी, और भगवान ने उनको पैदा इसलिए किया है कि वो चुनौतियों का सामना करें। बहुत आसान काम है दुनिया के, वो भी ये कर सकता था, चल सकता था आम आदमी के जीवन की चक्र की तरह, बहुत सारा खुशियाँ बटोरता, बच्चे पैदा करता, सबको सलाम करता रहता और सर झुका के चला जाता। लेकिन वो पैदा इसलिए हुआ है कि चुनौतियों को झेलेगा। अगर वो चुनौतियों को नहीं झेलता तो मानव समाज आज यहाँ कहाँ आता। रोज गालियाँ खाता है, लोग उसे गद्दार तक कहते हैं। हमारे कवि मित्र हुए हैं राम अवतार त्यागी जी, स्वर्गीय, उनकी 4 पंक्तियाँ मुझे अचानक याद आ रही हैं। जी रहे हो जिस कला का नाम लेकर, कुछ पता भी है कि ये कैसे बची है। जी रहे हो जिस कला का नाम लेकर, कुछ पता भी है कि ये कैसे बची है। सभ्यता की जिस अटारी पर खड़े हो, वो हम ही बदनाम लोगों ने रची है। तो ये साहित्यकार है जो सारी मुसीबतें झेलता रहेगा, काम करता रहेगा। दोस्तों, कई बार हमारे सामने एक संकट ये है कि बड़ी टेक्नोलॉजी आई है, उसने साहित्य को हाशिए पे डाल दिया है। भूमंडलीकरण है, बाजारवाद है, अपसंस्कृति है। हम सब ने लंबे लंबे लेख लिखे हैं, मैंने बहुत सारे भाषण दिए हैं, आपने भी बहुत सारा कुछ लिखा होगा। लेकिन इन सारी मुसीबतों में उसने एक अच्छा काम किया जो हमारी नज़र से ओझल है। सूचना क्रांति के इस युग ने हमारी भाषाओं और साहित्य को केंद्र में लाके खड़ा कर दिया है। आपकी जेब में जो मोबाइल है, पूरी दुनिया की लाइब्रेरी इसमें है, पूरी दुनिया के लेक्चर्स इसमें हैं। आपके पास पहले भी 24 घंटे थे, आज भी वही है। अपनी थोड़ी सी प्रायोरिटीज, हम गांव में पैदा हुए, हमें किताबें नहीं मिलती थी, पत्रिकाएं नहीं मिलती थी, कई कई महीने क्या सालों गुजर जाते थे। हम हर शब्द का अर्थ डिक्शनरीज में ढूंढते थे। अब आपके पास ये पूरा कंप्यूटर है और पूरी दुनिया की हर जबान का अदब इसमें है, हर तरह की ऐसी ऐसी वेब। मुझे मेरे 10 साल के ग्रैंडसन ने मुझे नोबल लॉरिएट्स के सारे लेक्चर्स मेरे मोबाइल पे सुनवा दिए उसने। तो ये एक अच्छी बात हुई है कि हमारा हिंदुस्तान का 24 जबानों का जो साहित्य था, जो अब तक हुआ था, हम तक नहीं पहुंचता था, वो हमारी इस टेक्नोलॉजी ने हमें बहुत उपलब्ध करवा दिया है। ये एक टेक्नोलॉजी का एक ऐसा साधन है, अगर आप इसकी सवारी करेंगे तो आपके साथ ये बहुत अच्छा बर्ताव करेगा, आप सेवा करेगा। अगर आप इसके गुलाम बन गए तो गुलाम भी बना देगा। ये आपकी चॉइस है कि आप गुलाम बनना चाहेंगे या स्वतंत्र रहना चाहेंगे। मित्रों, बहुत अधिक समय ना लेता हुआ एक बात ज़रूर कहूँगा कि जितने लेखक हैं पूरे हिंदुस्तान के, मैं तो ये पढ़ के हैरान रह गया। कोई भी ऐसा क्रिएटिव राइटर हिंदुस्तान का नहीं है जो यहाँ नहीं है, हर विधा का, हर क्षेत्र का। तो ये एकांत साधक है। लेखक अपने कोने में रहता है, उसका घर वालों से भी कोई ज़्यादा राब्ता रहता हो मुझे नहीं लगता। लेकिन जब इतने सारे ब्रेन्स इकट्ठे होते हैं तो एक्सप्लोजन ऑफ नॉलेज भी होता है, एक दूसरे की लिटरेरी ट्रेडिशंस को भी जानते हैं। और ये लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल है, ये 3 दिन का नहीं होता, ये जब अपने घरों में जाएंगे इनको वो सब दोस्त याद आएंगे, वो ट्रेडिशन याद आएंगे। मेरा ये अनुभव है कि लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल अगले लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल तक उनके घरों में उनके डाइनिंग टेबल के आसपास घूमता रहता है। नई चीज़ें पैदा होती है, नए अनुवाद पैदा होते हैं। मैं कहता हूँ इस विश्वविद्यालय को, नायक मेरी बहुत साल पहले एक चाय के कप पे ऐसे ही मुलाकात हो गई थी। इनकी बातें सुन के मुझे लगा था ये आदमी सच में कुछ ना कुछ करेगा, वो संभवतः यहाँ है भी नहीं, और ये लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल उसका मूर्त रूप है। एक बार फिर बहुत बहुत आभार, नमस्कार, जय हिंद।
माधव जी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कहना चाहेंगे। उन्होंने शुरुआत में कही कि बहुत ही आसान हिंदी में बात करेंगे, हिंदी फिल्मों वाली हिंदी में बात करेंगे, उसका तो पता नहीं, लेकिन जैसे भी कहा, जिस तरह से भी कहा, हमारे दिल को छू गई। थैंक यू सो मच माधव जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच. Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we have amidst us the Vice Chancellor of the Shiksha Anusandhan deemed to be university, eminent researcher, Professor Pradipta Kumar Nanda. His research interests involve image processing, analysis, biomedical image analysis, video computer vision, soft computing and its application in ad hoc wireless network. He has served as an expert member in NBA and DRDO selection committees and has published 103 papers in various journals and conference proceedings, has also authored 3 research books. So may I now request him for his address.
Good afternoon, everybody. Esteemed guests on the dais, Ganapati Avadi, Madam Pratibha Rai, eminent writer Dr. Ashish Nandi. We just listened to Dr. Madhav Kaushik, who is the president of the Sahitya Academy, and secretary of the Sahitya Academy, Dr. Srinivas Rao, eminent actress Ms. Dibya Datta, Dr. Gayatri Bala Panda, the head of Prachin Center of our university, Professor Jyotiranand Das, Dean Students Welfare of our university, all the distinguished personalities and the writers, storytellers, filmmakers in the of the dais, and the distinguished delegates, our faculty colleagues from our university, students, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I think I must compliment and congratulate Dr. Panda, Gayatri Panda, for taking initiative to organize such a mega literary festival in our campus. And also I thank our founder president, who also has supported all the way to organize such kind of festival. This is the second edition of this festival organizing in this university. University is a temple of learning, higher learning, and this university has all professional courses, including technology, science, life science, agriculture, even veterinary science we added, and faculty of legal studies and humanities also. So I think that for the holistic development of human being, we need technology, we need science, life science to evolve and to grow and to become a developed nation as mandated by Government of India in 2047. But nevertheless, this has to be, in fact, embedded with this aspect of life, that is literature, could be arts, could be music, and this gives the real emphasis on evolvement of the human being. And that's the reason the university also is focusing on this kind of activity. And not only university, also it is mandated by the New Education Policy 2020, which vows for that any core competency in any disciplines must be embedded with the other minors. That could be music, yoga, sports, literature, make it a holistic development, or holistic development of a student and the faculty in the university. Every top-notch university has all aspects in their campus, and connecting to the society also, this is one of the medium where we do connect to everybody of the society, and university has a mandate to give back to the society, to connect to the society. So in that mandate we have been working, and therefore we have many research centers, 18 research centers, many research lab because of university. And one of the typical research center we created, that is Prachin, just to focus on this kind of activities. And creativity is, quote unquote, is a word is necessary at every aspect of life, and it is independent of the degree, education, age, power, position, country, religion, anything else. And therefore, these creative personalities who are here are really great people who have created their own world through their writing, could be through their critics, could be film. They have impact in the society. So therefore, it is all the kind of the synergy of the activities is necessary for the holistic development of the society. And I'm very happy that we have been organizing such kind of functions, such kind of mega festivals, where our students, faculty members, and everybody will have a glimpse of the other world. Normally, the technology or the professional people have a different opinion about the literature, but of the kind of the of late, there has been appreciation to that. I'll just quote one kind of the shared by the famous scientist of 20th century, Albert Einstein, his views on another famous kind of sage poet, Rabindranath Tagore. Albert Einstein told, "The joy I derive from delving deep into the science is the same joy derived by the sage poet Rabindranath Tagore delving into the literature or the poems." That's the great thing. So at the end of this, at the root of this creativity, there is no difference of any discipline at all. So we respect all the disciplines, we appreciate all the disciplines for the holistic development of the human being. I wish all the best for this 3 days conference, great minds deliberating on great issues, and will great success for 3 days. Thank you. Welcome to SOAI.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, as we move closer to the end of the inaugural session, we would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude and felicitate all our esteemed guests on dais by presenting them tokens of appreciation from the SOA family. May I request the Vice Chancellor of SOA University, Professor P.K. Nanda, along with Head Prachin SOA University, Dr. Gayatri Bala Panda, and Dean Student Welfare, Mr. Jyoti Ranjan Das, to do the honors and felicitate all our esteemed guests on dais. Can we have the mementos, please? Eminent India novelist, Dr. Pratibha Rai. We like to do the honors. Let's have a big round of applause for all of them. We are indeed grateful to them that they could take out time from their busy schedule and attend the inaugural session of the SOA Lit Fest, the second edition. We would like to felicitate President Sahitya Akademi, New Delhi, Mr. Madhav Sheikh. Come on, students, let the applause keep coming. Grateful, sir, for your presence. We would also like to felicitate and present a token of appreciation to Social Professor Ashish Nandi. Thank you so much, Professor Nandi. We would also like to present a token of appreciation to Secretary Sahitya Academy, New Delhi, Dr. K. Srinivas Rao. We would all like to express our gratitude to eminent It is the presence of these esteemed personalities that has made the inaugural such a grand success. Thank you everyone. May I now request Dean Students Welfare, Sowa University, Mr. Jyoti Ranjan Das to present the vote of thanks.
जय जगन्नाथ धन्यवाद अर्पण पूर्वर मोर अति निजर पिला माननकु गोटे अनुरोध रहिबो समस्ते गोटे स्टैंडिंग ओवेशन देबे भारत वर्ष प्रख्यात लेखक लेखिका एवं विभिन्न जगतर सुनामधन्य व्यक्तित्व आज एठारे एही वर्णाढ्य परिवेश रे उपस्थित अछंती पिला मान गोटे ठिया होइकि करताली दे समस्त को स्वागत करिवे एटा होछि विश्वविद्यालय परिचय. Now we are extending the standing ovation with a big round of applause on behalf of students of ASO deemed to be university to the eminent guests on the dais and of the dais. Thank you. बसी पड़ंतु समस्ते. इंग्राजी भाषा रे आपण माने शुणुथिले हिंदी भाषा रे भी शुणिले मातृभाषा ओडिया रे मु सेथिपाई दुई पद कहवाई चाहिए जगन्नाथ नाम नेली आमर प्रकृत संस्कृति जगन्नाथ आरंभ हुए मु से दिगरे जीवाको चाहूना सारा विश्व आज बंची सारा विश्व आगे सारा विश्व आज चिंता करुछि आहुरी अनेक आगक जीवाको सबरी पछरे महाप्रभु जगन्नाथ हाथ रही ये जगन्नाथ क्षेत्र ये तो एकाम्र क्षेत्र भुवनेश्वर आठी जो आम बसचे ये शिक्षा क्षेत्र एसओ विश्वविद्यालय जहाँ भारत वर्षर 15तम सर्वश्रेष्ठ विश्वविद्यालय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन NIRF रैंकिंग तरफ घोषणा करा जाइछि. आज मंच रे उपस्थित विश्वविद्यालय कुलपति प्रोफेसर प्रदीप्त कुमार नंद हु इज चेयरिंग द इनॉग्रेशन सेशन ऑफ दिस 3-day what you can say literature meet and followed by Swa Sahitya Saman to be held at 5 p.m. on 26th November 2023 in the valedictory session, where you find there is a felicitation or a big felicitation program for 11 eminent ODI writers like the captain of captains, Pratibha Rai, who doesn't know her, very senior eminent ODI writer Ganpit Avadi, who inaugurated this auspicious occasion today just before a couple of hours. Madhav Kaushik, Honorable President, Kendra Sahitya Academy. Ashish Nandi, the great social theorist and critic. Srinivasa Rao, Honorary Secretary, Kendra Sahitya Academy, and your most favorite, the actor and author, Divya Datta. And the person behind the organizing of this beautiful function, head of Prachin, also awardee of Kendra Sahitya Academy, Gayatri Bala Panda, and famous poet, writers, authors, critic thinkers of the dais, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen, members of SOE family, persons from media, and anybody which I am unable to touch. मैं विशेष किसी कहवाक चाहूना समय स्वल्पता दृष्टि जो मैंने आज ये मंच रे उपस्थित अछंती सेमानंको मो मो तरफरु विश्वविद्यालय तरफरु अनेक अनेक कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन करने सहित समस्तंकर उज्जवल भविष्य कामना करुछि एवं ए 3 दिनर विराट फंक्शन उत्सवर सफलता कामना करने आपण मानंको अनुरोध करुछि। वंदे उत्कल जननी, जय जगन्नाथ। आउ खाली गोटे रिक्वेस्ट रहिबो मंच रे जो अछंती दोज आर प्रेजेंट ऑन दिस स्टेज, let God bless us. We should get an opportunity to invite them all again for a bigger function in the future endeavor. Thank you all. Jai Jagannath.
All right, thank you so much. That brings us to the end of the inaugural ceremony. We would once again like to thank all our esteemed guests for gracing the inaugural ceremony. Can we have a round of applause for all of them? Of course, we would like to inform everybody here that sessions will continue here. In fact, following, we'll be just starting very shortly a next session, a one-on-one session with Divya Datta, who's already graced the ceremony, film critic Ms. Ratna Sen Gupta. So the session will continue after this. So I'll request everybody to please stay seated for the next one as well. And I would once again like to thank our dignitaries for gracing the inaugural ceremony. We'll just take a few minutes, set the stage for the next session. And I'll request, that's why all our students, our guests, to stay seated. I'll request all students, yes. This is for the young crowd, this session, so I'll request all of you, of course, to stay seated. You are already seated, but I'm still telling just in case. So are you geared up for the next session, students? What is this? Are you geared up for the next session, students? That's better.
Okay, dear students, please enjoy this session by Divya Datta. Have a nice day. Thank you.
sessions. I request clear stage so we can start the session. Do you want me to call the students? I could students just come a little more interactive. Jinne pehle hi bata that you would like to see so many students here. So students, why don't you come ahead? Volunteers, can you ensure that? Students आगे आ जाएं so that you can ask questions and it can get as interactive and interesting as it could be. So I request all the young minds to please come ahead. I request people to please not, to settle down and not crowd the entrance area here because we are about to start the session and it doesn't look good. We have both our speaker and moderator for this session. There's a one-on-one interaction between Ms. Divya Datta and Ratnatama Sen Gupta. So it's going to be very interesting, but I don't think we'll start before everybody is settled. I'll please request, even to our esteemed guests in the front row, could I please request all of you to take a seat? And to maintain the decorum, can I please request not to crowd the exit area? Either you can leave or take your seats. Yeah. Students, please come ahead. Come on, volunteers. Volunteers, can you please ensure? Ete laja ushanti kahingi apna mane asuntu aguku. Come on. It's okay, you can come and sit here. I know you were asked to sit there, but now you can all come ahead. This is a session for you all. So make the most of it. Come on. Volunteers in yellow t-shirts, I see so many of you. I'm not seeing you work. Can you please request your classmates and your students to come and take seats ahead? Leave a couple of rows for the guests and let the students come and fill up one side. अब देखिए यहाँ पे सेशन होगा, आप लोग इतने पीछे बैठेंगे तो वो लोग आपसे कैसे इंटरेक्ट करेंगे? आप लोग सामने आ जाएं, इस तरफ लेफ्ट में, come on, the ones in the white shirt, yes, the whole group that was there from the beginning. Please come, आ जाओ सब, आगे आ जाओ, आगू को आसी जाओ समझते? एनर्जी आप ही लोगों से आने वाली है, तो आप लोग सब आगे आ जाएं। और मैं फिर से हमारे जितने अतिथि हैं उन सबसे अनुरोध करूंगी कि आप एग्जिट एरिया पे भीड़ ना जमाएं, आप बैठ जाएं सेशन के लिए। हम 2 मिनट में सेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे। मैं चाहती हूं तब तक कि प्लीज सब कोई सेटल हो जाए, बिकॉज जब सेशन स्टार्ट हो जाए और इतनी हड़बड़ी चल रही हो हॉल में तो वो बिल्कुल अच्छा नहीं लगेगा। सो आई रिक्वेस्ट एवरीवन टू प्लीज टेक देयर सीट्स। I request all our esteemed guests to please take a seat. This is a wonderful session that's happening, so I request all of them to please stay seated.
What is better here, English or Hindi?
Why don't you ask them? What would they be comfortable?
Namaskar, guys. Can we not make it a railway station and just sit here, please?
Yes, students, come on quickly.
And can we please have the doors shut? बातें करनी है तो अच्छे से करते हैं। Thank you.
Yes, all students. Yes, now this looks so much better.
Much nicer to have everyone in the front row.
और दिव्या जी ने जो कहा उसके साथ मैं एक लाइन और जोड़ दूं, ये क्लासरूम नहीं है, आप लोग इतने ढीलेपने से क्यों आगे आ रहे हो? आनंद।
Can I please request the volunteers to shut the doors and maybe begin, guys?
अब सुस्ती छोड़िए और फुर्ती से बैठ जाइए अभी। और इधर दाहिने तरफ का दरवाज़ा काइंडली somebody will close shut the door because लाइट बहुत आंखों को चुभ रही है। दिव्या जी नमस्कार।
जी बिल्कुल नमस्कार। एंड
और
वॉलंटियर्स आई नीड सम हेल्प। जिसको खड़े रहना है प्लीज़ आप लोग बाहर चले जाइए, जो बैठेंगे वो बहुत अच्छा लगेगा। आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है प्लीज़। थैंक यू। You guys didn't do your morning walk today or what? अच्छा जब आप लोग रेडी हो तो बता दें। We'll start. That's the first Lit Fest I'm seeing, which is that. Aram said, please don't do this. You want us to start chatting or leave? जैसे आप कहें. Audience is always the head. Tell us, should we start? I haven't heard it properly. English में करें कि हिंदी में करें? पहले बोलना था ना, पूरी स्पीच इंग्लिश में हो गई। चलो कोई बात नहीं, अभी हिंदी में करेंगे। चलिए, are we ready? Please, I don't want any movement. Madam, please बैठ जाएं। शुक्रिया। मुझे लग रहा है मैं क्लास में प्रोफेसर हूँ। ऐसा मैं अभी कोई रोल करना नहीं चाहूँगी। आप प्लीज़ एंड फोटोग्राफर्स प्लीज़ बैठ जाएं। थैंक यू, शुक्रिया। Because these people can't see. Thank you very much.
मुझे लग रहा है आपके किताब की जो टाइटल है Stars in My Sky,
जी।
तो these are all stars of
Absolutely. This
शिक्षा और अनुसंधान। ये शायद आप लोग भूल रहे हैं। आप लोग स्टार्स हैं तो आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि यहाँ जो आपकी अतिथि हैं उनको बहुत अच्छी तरह से let her go back with some very good feelings and good memories, right? So we start. I'm sorry, आपने कहा है कि हिंदी में, पर मैं तो बीच बीच में इंग्लिश भी बोलती रहूँगी। हाँ, don't take it otherwise. तो दिव्या, I am so happy. I suddenly realized कि you have not just the stars in my sky, but you've started with me and Ma. What a lovely thing to happen. It's a coincidence. It happens to be my mother's birthday today. But how come your first book was on your mother, which is a very personal, less known side, when probably publishers would have wanted to know more about your other stars?
Thank you. It's a question I've never been asked actually. Jesse, when you heard my address and we were talking, there was no motive of being an author or writer. Things in my life have always been very organic. वो हो गई। कुछ मैंने वो मेरे लिए सबसे best ये है कहावत है, when you want God to laugh, tell him your plans. तो for me it is flow with life. जो आज है, आज मेरे लिए ज़रूरी है कि मैं आपसे यहाँ मुखातिब हूँ, आप सबसे बातचीत कर रही हूँ और कुछ अच्छी मेमोरीज यहाँ से लेके जाऊँगी, because the energy that students give, I think is unparalleled. और मेरे लिए मेरी स्टूडेंट लाइफ हमेशा शायद मेरी बेहतरीन मेमोरीज में से रहेगी. So me and Ma, I think wasn't planned. I had lost my father very early. तो मेरा सबसे बड़ा डर ये था कि I don't want to lose my mother. तो I think ज़िंदगी आपको सिखा देती है कि लूज़ आप किसी को नहीं करते, शायद वो बाहर नहीं, वो आपके अंदर रहना शुरू कर देते हैं. So and there's that security that they will always be there, they're not going anywhere. लेकिन I wanted to celebrate a parent. I'm sure यहाँ बहुत सारे बच्चे इस बात से, बच्चे नहीं कहूँगी, young people, sorry, मेरे लिए so all these lovely young students here.
भाई और बहनों,
वो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगेगा अगर मैं भाई और बहनों कह सकूं, लेकिन I think all these young lovely students here, you know when you have dreams और वो कभी आपके पेरेंट्स के साथ कभी मेल ना खाएं, जैसे मेरे घर में डॉक्टर्स थे सब, तो डैडी, ग्रैंडफादर, मम्मा, everyone was a doctor. तो उसमें ये सोचना कि आपको एक्टर बनना है is kind of lots of years back, about 25, 26 years back, was a little blasphemous, I would say. कि ये कैसे हुआ? लेकिन बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स कह देते हैं मैं जो चाहता हूँ वो करो. They do not hear कि हमारा बच्चा क्या करना चाहता है, उसकी तवज्जो किस तरफ है. तो मेरी माँ ने शायद सुना और एक ही मिनट में there was a magazine called Stardust. I don't know how many of you know of it. Hands up. अच्छा, कोई नहीं.
फिल्म फेयर जानते हैं,
फिल्म फेयर
Stardust
जानते हो,
शायद.
फिल्म फेयर जानते हो. Stardust खैर अभी बंद हो गई. There was a film magazine called Stardust और उसमें एक तो मेरे एग्जाम्स होते थे, मैं लास्ट मिनट बैठ के बाथरूम में पढ़ती थी बिकॉज मैं लेट के पढ़ती थी. I would sleep off and I was always a last minute reader. Yes, and I would top strangely. तो उसमें मैंने पढ़ा कि एक टैलेंट कॉन्टेस्ट है and I just filled the form, I sent it to Mumbai. Much to my surprise, I got selected. And my brother clicked pictures of mine, very amateurish pictures. वो बहुत मतलब मेरे से छोटा है. तो दो बच्चे जैसे कुछ करते हैं कि चलो कर लो, वो कर लिया. And I was not expecting that I would be selected, but I got selected. And that was the moment when I had to tell my mother कि mummy, I have been selected to go to Mumbai for an audition. And pin drop silence, हम दोनों ऐसे खड़े हैं आंखें नीचे करके. And I said, Mom, I've been selected, I have to go to Mumbai. She said, you have your second year exams, you know that. I said, yes, Mama, I promise I will work very hard. तो she says, look at me. तो मैंने उनकी तरफ देखा, उन्होंने कहा, are you sure? वो जो पॉज था कितने सेकंड्स का था मुझे पता नहीं. उस वक्त मुझे लगा कि बस यही चीज़ है जो मैं ज़िंदगी में करना चाहती हूँ. एंड शी वॉज अ पेरेंट जिन्होंने कहा अच्छा ठीक है मैं तेरे साथ हूँ. और वो मोमेंट मेरे मन को जो खुशी मिली, मुझे लगा मुझे इस पेरेंट को कभी भी लेट डाउन नहीं करना है. बिकॉज शी हैज़ बिलीव्ड इन माई ड्रीम्स. शी हैज़ स्टूड बाय मी अनकंडीशनली कम व्हाट मे. एंड I wanted to celebrate a parent like this.
Wow.
So when she was in the hospital, मुझे था कि मैं क्या अभी रोऊं कि मैं इनको celebrate करूं. And I thought I want to celebrate her. Or I called up Penguin. I said, listen, I want to write something about my mother. They didn't even hear what it was. They said, sounds beautiful. Yes, please. What do you call it? मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था what will I call it. और सबसे दिल से जो आवाज़ निकली वो थी मी एंड माँ. Because कहानी ही एक माँ बेटी की है. And as you say, this was more commercial, The Stars in My Sky. I think सबसे precious माँ के ऊपर क्या हो सकता है?
दिल की बात.
तो वो सबसे बेस्ट सेलर थी मेरे लिए. और जितना कनेक्ट मैंने अपने रीडर्स के साथ उसके ज़रिए किया, ऑडियो बुक बनी, अभी हिंदी का वर्जन निकला. आई फील हम लोग कहीं ना कहीं अपने पेरेंट्स से दोस्तियाँ करनी छोड़ देते हैं, पेरेंट्स भी छोड़ देते हैं, वाइस वर्सा. We need to just diminish that gap, that boundary. This book is for that. That talk to your parents as friends, and parents should not have that thing कि मैं बड़ी हूँ, मुझे इतने सालों का experience है, सुनना चाहिए. No, maybe they think differently. I was very fortunate that I had a very understanding parent. And so hence that book, Me and Ma, and I would really think it was really nice कि सबसे ज़्यादा खुशी इस बात की हुई कि जब कोई भी आता था और वो ऐसे बोलते थे कि बुक पढ़ी, and I called my mother and said, Mom, I love you. Because हम कई बार नहीं कह पाते. We take our parents so for granted. और लेना भी चाहिए, और किसको लेंगे for granted.
हाँ.
लेकिन बोलना भी चाहिए कि आपसे बहुत प्यार करते हैं.
जैसे मम्मी पापा को भी बोलना चाहिए कि बच्चा तुमने बहुत बढ़िया किया.
Everything in life is mutual, लेकिन माँ बाप का, स्पेशली माँ का प्यार जो होता है वो उसे कहा जाता है कि बहुत ही अनकंडीशनल होता है. तो बच्चे कई बार हाँ मम्मी रखो फ़ोन. I miss that now. मम्मा रखो फ़ोन, किसको बोलूँ? I want her to pick up the phone. So yeah.
Divya, you've touched a core in my heart. When my mother passed away, the first thought in my mind was, I can never call her up again.
But I do call her. और हम बात करते हैं, और यहाँ से ऐसे टिंग टिंग घंटी बजती है और बात होती है और बड़े मज़े की होती है.
अरे वाह. So, did you?
Thank you. जी.
तो आपने बताया, you've just said how your mother had confidence in you and she kind of gave you the go-ahead to become an actor, break with the tradition in the family and become an actor. So, at which point, you've mentioned earlier on stage that you were writing already in school and college magazines. So at which point did you feel that words rather than emoting is what you want to do? Of course, there is a time and a place. Younger years are for being in front of the camera. Later, with experience, you know, your pen dipped in experience, you become a writer even more than an actor. But with you, let me hear.
I feel जैसा माधव जी ने भी बोला था कि ये चीज़ें शायद आपको कुदरत देती है, आप इसके लिए पढ़ाई नहीं करते हैं, वो आ जाती हैं. तो चाहे मैं स्कूल के लिए लिख रही थी या कॉलेज के लिए लिख रही थी, तो वो मेरी कहीं एक्सपीरियंस से नहीं आ रहा था शायद. बट येस, आई थिंक आई रोट विद फुल सिंसियरिटी, आई रोट विद ऑल माई हार्ट. And my first love, I'll be very honest, has always been that I want to be in front of the camera. और वो शायद इसलिए आया that I was an ardent fan of Mr. Bachchan. और बच्चन साहब को जब मैं 4-5 साल की थी, I saw him on the big screen and I was mesmerized. I said, ये जहाँ पर है ना, मुझे वहाँ जाना है. ये कौन सी दुनिया है जहाँ, and there was this song खई के पान बनारस वाला. So I used to, मैं अपनी मम्मी के साड़ी सब फाड़ के यहाँ ऐसा कमर पे बांध लेती थी, कुर्ती पे. पान तो खाना अलाउड नहीं था, छोटे बच्चे 4-5 साल के, तो लिपस्टिक को पान बना लेती थी. नेबरहुड के बच्चों को बुलाती थी कि आओ आओ ज़रा, मैं आज परफॉर्म करूँगी और तुम लोगों को गुलाब जामुन मिलेंगे, समोसे मिलेंगे, और अगर तुम लोगों ने ज़ोर से तालियां बजाई तो रूह अफ़ज़ा मिलेगा. तो आई एम नॉट गिविंग यू एनी रूह अफ़ज़ा गाइज, because I don't have any. But yeah, so I think वो stage पे तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट ऐसी, appreciation, acknowledgement, and above everything else, performing was something that I loved. क्लास में जब आपकी टीचर नहीं आती है, आप में से एक तो स्टूडेंट ऐसा होगा ना जिसे खड़ा कर लेते हैं, हाँ भाई चलो खड़े होके कुछ तो बताओ, entertain करो. I was that. In the class, in spite of being the head girl, I was the naughtiest one. और मुझे बोलते थे इधर आ जाओ और तुम परफॉर्म करो, तो मुझे परफॉर्म करना बहुत अच्छा लगता था. Alongside, unassumingly, I was also writing and I was experiencing the magic of words. Some that were written by, of course, other eminent dialogue writers जो फिल्मों में हमारे लिए लिखते हैं. One of them sitting right here, अतुल तिवारी जी. तो दूसरों के खूबसूरत वर्ड्स लिखे हुए बोलना एक एक्टर का काम है, लेकिन वो खूबसूरत जब होते हैं वो आपके दिल को छूते हैं. फिर खुद लिखना शुरू किया, लेकिन फिल्मों के लिए नहीं, वो अपने लिए और एक अलग दुनिया ढूंढने के लिए जो मेरे वर्ड्स के साथ रेजोनेट कर सके. सो बोथ गो पैरेलली.
जैसे कि आज हमने सुना है और लोगों को कहते हुए कि राइटिंग एंड ऑफ कोर्स एक्टिंग आल्सो बोथ thrive on lived experiences. You write about your life. When you're acting also, you derive from moments in your life.
Absolutely.
So just let us hear a little bit about some such moments.
Sure. तो आप सब में से भाग मिल्खा भाग किसने देखी? Now I see a lot of hands.
लगभग सबने. How nice.
So now, when my mother was a doctor in a very rural area, तो वहाँ पर जो औरतें आती थीं वो बात ही नहीं करती थी. मम्मी बोलती थी कैसे हो, वो रो पड़ती थी. अच्छी हो, रो पड़ती थी. खुश हो तो भी रो पड़ती थी. तो मैं बच्ची थी और मैं जाके स्कूल के बाद I would sit with my mother in her clinic and I would just watch because I had nothing better to do. तो मैं सोचती थी औरतें बोलती नहीं हैं, मतलब हर बात पे ही रो देती हैं. अब ये हो गई मेरी बचपन की मेमोरी. कट टू, हम भाग मिल्खा भाग की शूटिंग कर रहे हैं और तब तक मुझे एक स्ट्रॉन्ग हेडेड मतलब एक एक्टर माना जाता है कि ये अपनी चॉइसेस खुद करती है, ये वो बोलती है जो इसको बोलना है. तो एंड देन आई वाज गिवन द रोल ऑफ इसरी कौर एंड स्त्री कौर का जब मैंने रोल सुना और राकेश जी ने कहा कि डायलॉग्स नहीं है ज़्यादा तुम्हारे, आई सेड कोई बात नहीं, ही सेज आंखों से बात करेंगे, एंड आई सेड ठीक है। और स्त्री कौर जब मैंने कॉस्ट्यूम पहना, एक पावर होता है कॉस्ट्यूम का, मैं आपको, आप सबका फेवरेट सीन कौन सा है? आई गेस वही जो ब्लेजर में इयररिंग्स वाला सीन सबका फेवरेट है. So that's what I gather from everyone else, but so I'm taking it as a given. वो कॉस्ट्यूम जब मैंने पहना, नहीं मैं जीन्स पहन के गई और हम रिहर्सल कर रहे थे, एंड राकेश मेहरा सेड कैन यू प्लीज वेयर योर कॉस्ट्यूम? आई सेड सर मैं बिल्कुल कंफर्टेबल हूँ, आई एम फाइन, शर्ट्स एंड jeans, it's all good. He said, I insist, will you please go wear your costume? और उस वक्त मैं बर्तन धो रही थी, अगर आपको सीन याद होगा, she's washing utensils. तो कुछ सही नहीं हो रहा था वहाँ पे. And I went, I wore the salwar kameez, I put the dupatta behind my ears and I wrapped it around myself. And the magic of the costume happened. I was washing utensils as if I was a pro. मुझे तो याद भी नहीं है, but राकेश मेहरा कहते हैं कि गरम कोयले में भी हाथ डाल दिया था, हाथ जल गया था तुम्हारा, लेकिन तुमने ध्यान ही नहीं दिया. I don't remember. So what I'm saying is कि वो जो आप जो what were we talking about? What were we talking
about life, learning from life, how you...
Yes. So and when we were told कि beginning आप लीजिए और end भी आप करिए, तो suddenly मुझे ख्याल आया कि स्त्री कौर कौन है? स्त्री कौर वो है जो शायद वो मिलने आया करती थी. वो कहाँ बचपन में सबकॉन्शियस मेमोरी गई मैंने नहीं सोचा था. एंड टीयर्स जस्ट ट्रिकल्ड ऑफ माय आईज. एंड देन उसके बाद व्हेन आई एम हगिंग हिम, राकेश मेहरा द डायरेक्टर, ही सेड गिव इट योर ओन एंड. तो मैं सोच रही हूँ इतना क्लीशे एंड करेंगे क्या कि हमने भाई बहन ने जप्फी मार ली, वी हग्ड ईच अदर, वी एम्ब्रेस्ड एंड दैट्स इट. एंड सडनली आई रियलाइज्ड इवन एक्टर जो आप रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं उसकी भी सबकॉन्शियस मेमोरी होती है. सडनली मुझे ख्याल आया कि स्त्री कौर ने बचपन में देखा ना अपने बाप को सल्यूट करते हुए छोटे मिल्खा को, डू इट. आई डोंट नो वेयर दैट वॉइस केम फ्रॉम, बट आई डिड इट एंड आई जस्ट लेफ्ट दैट एम्ब्रेस एंड आई जस्ट सल्यूटेड हिम लाइक दिस. तो जो स्तब्धता बोलते हैं ना, सेट पे सब एकदम स्तब्ध हो गए थे कि ये क्या हुआ. और मैं भी हो गई थी, पर मैं दिखा नहीं सकती थी, लेकिन हम सब रो रहे थे. वो एक मोमेंट था जो मैजिकल था, जो कहीं ना कहीं आपने ज़िंदगी में जो कहीं देखा है वो कब आ जाता है, यू डू नॉट रियलाइज, बट दैट इज़ द पावर ऑफ द सबकॉन्शियस, आई वुड से.
Now my eyes are moist, but it is said that samundar kuch le nahi jata, it gives you back, and life is an ocean, so it gives you back. I would just ask you कि दो किताबें आपकी, Me and Ma, The Stars in My Sky. One is so personal, घर के अंदर माँ, उससे भी पहले माँ, मतलब जन्म से पहले से माँ. और once you've become famous or in your journey, on your journey into popularity and fame, तो दोनों का tenor कैसे, मतलब what is the difference when you're writing these two books? कैसे अलग रहा?
See, the beauty of the difference between acting and writing is, for me, हर एक का experience अलग होता है. मेरे लिए ये रहा कि एक्टिंग में मैंने सीखा कि अपने आप को बिल्कुल अलग कर दो उस किरदार से. लीव दिव्या आउटसाइड एंड लेट द कैरेक्टर कम इन, और उस किरदार को वो ही फील करने दो जो उसको करना है.
Internalize an outsider.
Absolutely, beautifully put. So just do that. But whereas writing is concerned, I feel it is very personalized, be it as personal as my experiences with my mother. लेकिन ये जो मेरी Stars in My Sky है, ये हर पर्सनालिटी जो फिल्मों में जिनके साथ मेरी मूवी जर्नीज़ हुई हैं, चाहे वो अमिताभ बच्चन हो, चाहे जावेद अख्तर हो, चाहे गुलजार साहब हो, शाहरुख हो, सलमान हो, इरफान हो, शबाना जी हो, कितने सारे लोग जो आपको अपने मूवी सेट्स पर मिलते हैं. आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि इन्होंने मुझे ये फिल्म दिलाई, इनकी वजह से मैं स्टार, नो, बट देयर इज समथिंग ब्यूटिफुल दैट दे डिड दैट आई विल ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, जो उस वक्त उस मौके पे मेरे लिए शायद इतना खूबसूरत मोमेंट था कि वो दैट ब्रॉट मी अ स्माइल ऑन माई फेस. सो आई थॉट ये ज़रूर इसको डेफिनेटली लिखना चाहिए. वो पर्सनल हुए बिना नहीं लिख सकते. एंड आई मस्ट शेयर दिस विद यू कि जब आप हर एक्टर पे, हर डायरेक्टर पे आप जब कुछ लिखते हैं, आई हैव टू शेयर इट बैक विद देम. और जो पर्सनलाइज्ड एक्सपीरियंस आई हैव सीन एक्टर्स, माय डायरेक्टर्स क्राई व्हेन दे रेड देयर चैप्टर्स. और एक से मैंने बात की फ़ोन पर और हमने कुछ सेकंड ना मैं बोली ना वो बोले. एंड आई रियलाइज्ड कि हम एक दूसरे को, मे बी यू ऑल आर फ्रेंड्स, आप एक दूसरे के दोस्त हैं, लेकिन कितनी बार हम बोलते हैं एक दूसरे को, यार मुझे ना तेरी वो बात बहुत पसंद है. जब आपके सामने वो बात आती है कि लिसन, आपने ये जो किया था ना मेरे लिए, उस वक्त मुझे उस चीज़ से ये फ़र्क पड़ा, एंड थैंक यू फॉर इट. I have had the most overwhelming experiences exchanging these chapters with people they belong to. And for me, that is very, very personalized.
How nice, how very important this is to acknowledge, to let them know that they've had made such an impact in your life. Since we are celebrating words and thoughts, एक thought मेरे दिमाग में रही है कि राइटिंग, अभी आजकल तो कंप्यूटर या इवन फ़ोन में भी लोग लिखते हैं, मैं भी लिखती हूँ कई बार, बट इन टुडेज़ वर्ल्ड सो मच इज़ ऑनलाइन, so much is audio, and yet I, at least speaking for myself, पता नहीं आप लोगों में से कौन मेरे साथ सहमत है, हाथ उठाइएगा. We want to hold a book in our hands. Same. मुझे जब तक मैं एक किताब हाथ में नहीं पकड़ लेती हूँ, very recently I realized this. I'll tell you, just 2 minute मैं अपनी बात कहूँ. I used to be with Times of India, which was always हमारे ज़िंदगी में तो मतलब I'm half a century or quarter century more than you. So we started reading Times of India even without realizing that we were reading, okay? Or so I continued to be with Times of India, but after retirement, I'm writing online, and I have columns. So one of the forums I write for, it's an international forum, Borderless. तो उसमें से कहानियाँ, translations, conversations have been brought out by Om Books. It's called Mona Lisa No Longer Smiles. It's a lovely title. But what I'm saying is, online chapti to hai. But the moment I saw that book, you know, I asked myself, ye kyun? What is this thrill of holding a book in your hand?
Well, I can talk about books and I can talk about scripts that you hold. आजकल सब कोई जो भी होते हैं फिल्म प्रोड्यूसर्स या डायरेक्टर्स, वो आपको कहते हैं, should I send it to you on mail? So the first thing is, no, send me a bound copy, because वो जो एक sense of belonging होती है जब आप किसी, you know, there's a power of hugging. Do you realize वो जादू की जप्पी, I'm sure, वैसी ही power of hugging जो होती है, वो पहली किताब को जो आप छूते हैं उसे फील करते हैं, हम भूल जाते हैं. There's a power of touch. This is mine. इसको हग किया, इसको देखा, उस पर मेरा नाम लिखा हुआ आता है, दिव्या दत्ता, ये कॉपी दिव्या के लिए है. वो पढ़ी, उसको जब पन्ने पलटने का जो मज़ा है, rather than just scroll through your finger, जो पन्ना पलटा उसकी जो आवाज़ है, कुछ खाते वक्त पढ़ रही हूँ, एक हल्दी का शायद दाग लग गया, वो मेरा है, लेकिन वो जो खुशबू है कुल पेपर की, वो कहीं पे भी जाके यहाँ छाती पे रख के पढ़ना पेड़ के नीचे is amazing. Those, I think, I am a good maybe, no, I am your brother, sister, whatever. I'm not going where I come from, but what I'm saying is, in the times of Amar Chitra Kathas and the time of Enid Blyton's, घर में जो आप सीखते हैं, जो बचपन में सीखते हैं, वो कहीं नहीं जाता, वो रहता है आपके साथ. तो हमारे घरों में उन किताबों को छूना, पढ़ना, फील करना, वो सीखा, और वो शायद हमेशा पहला प्यार रहेगा. So even though you go with technology, आई ऑल्सो टाइप, मेरी हैंड राइटिंग अब और ख़राब हो गई है क्योंकि अब टाइप करने लग गए हैं, लेकिन जो लिखने का मज़ा है पेन के साथ, और जो किताब पकड़ने का मज़ा है और जो स्क्रिप्ट पकड़ने का मज़ा है, आई थिंक वो बहुत उम्दा है.
So, you have actually preempted, I have rather preempted. आपने पहले कहा था कि वो स्क्रिप्ट पकड़ने की बात, तो even before we came to that, I had a question in mind. You've partly answered it earlier, कि what is going to be, I mean, physically, books जब छप के आएगी, तो वो personal, fictional, क्या होगा, autobiographical, fictional, and you've said कि you are going to write stories for children. तो एक lovely idea, and I just love it. But थोड़ा सा बताइए, do you have any intention of writing a script also at some point? Maybe you will direct it, or for
3 of my directors are after me to do that, but मुझे sincerely screenplay ना तो लिखना आता है, और मुझे एक्टिंग में इतना मज़ा आता है कि मुझे लगता है जो काम इतनी खूबसूरती से सब करते हैं अभी कर देना चाहिए. एंड मैं आई थिंक यू शुड ऑलवेज बी ओपन इन लाइफ, यू शुड नेवर से नो, बिकॉज ज़िंदगी में क्या आपके सामने कब सामने आ जाए एकदम से, यू शुड बी प्रिपेयर्ड एंड यू शुड एन्जॉय इट. I never knew I'm going to be an actor. I never knew I'm going to be an author. I won't know what I'll be in future. But yes, say yes to life, always. So yeah.
So life is all about journey and not the destination.
Absolutely.
So I'll go back a little bit to Stars in My Sky. You have mentioned, and we all know, of course, Rakesh, Om Prakash Mehra, Yash Ji, ये सारे directors, and also you've just talked about Amit Ji, but Shah Rukh, Irfan, they have all been very core to your film career. Shabana in the foreword. So, can I just quickly ask you to, I don't know how much time we have, but we want you to ask questions as well. Before we go there, would you just peep into your personalities?
I think I've been very fortunate कि मुझे बहुत ही उम्दा लेजेंड्स के साथ काम करने का मौका मिला, चाहे वो यश चोपड़ा हो, चाहे श्याम बेनेगल हो. How many of you have watched Yash Chopra films? Shyam Benegal films? Quite a few. Okay. तो मेरे लिए learning experiences जो रहे, I'll quickly tell you 2 incidents. Shyam Benegal is one of the most approachable and humble directors. And जब मैं आई थी पंजाब से, मैं पंजाब से आई थी, तो इंडस्ट्री में क्या होता है कि आपको कोई मना नहीं करता है. अगर मैं 25 ऑफिसेज में गई और सबने कहा हाँ हम आपके साथ ज़रूर काम करेंगे, एंड आई बिलीव्ड बिकॉज आई वाज सो नाइव. अब यहाँ क्या इंडस्ट्री में आपको मना नहीं करता है, क्योंकि कल किसकी ज़रूरत किसको पड़े क्या मालूम. लेकिन मैं तो मान के आ गई और मैंने मम्मी को फ़ोन किया, आई एम डूइंग 22 फिल्म्स. तो और पता चला कि उनमें से 20 तो शुरू ही नहीं हुई, और जो 2 हुई वो किसी और हीरोइन के साथ हुई. आई वाज हार्ट, ये ऐसे क्यों होता है. लेकिन जब मैंने श्याम बेनेगल को फ़ोन किया, फ़ोन नहीं किया, मुझे ट्रेन टू पाकिस्तान का प्रीमियर था, वहाँ मिले. आई सेड सर आई वांट टू मीट यू. आई सेड ओके, दिस इज़ माय नंबर, कॉल मी. आई सेड इतना सिंपल होता है क्या, ऐसे हो जाता है. एंड क्योंकि अब थोड़ी सी सिनिकल हो गई थी कि ऐसे ही सब बोल देते हैं, तो गई उनसे मिलने. उन्होंने कहा एंड सो ऑनेस्ट, ही सेड मेरी फिल्म की कास्टिंग हो गई है, एक डांस है, फोक डांस, करोगी? आई सेड ऑफ कोर्स करूँगी. द फिल्म वाज समर, और मुझे उन्होंने कहा ठीक है, यू गिव मी 7 days. तो आई सेड 7 days मतलब आई विल हैव टू लर्न डांस एंड एवरीथिंग. मैं बहुत कुछ सोच के गई. तो पहले दिन उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि व्हाट इज़ योर हॉबी. आई सेड सर आई लाइक कुकिंग. ही सेज ओके, गो टू द किचन, गो विद योर को-स्टार्स, मेक समथिंग यू लाइक. आई सेड ये क्या बात हुई, डांस की रिहर्सल कब होगी. तो देन आई वेंट विद सीमा बिस्वास, हु इज़ अ वेटरन एब्सोल्युटली, एंड आई वुड कॉल हर मैम. और फिर 2-3 और एक्टर्स थे, रजत कपूर थे और 2 और जो मेरे अब बहुत ही प्यारे मित्र हैं सब. तो अब वो खाना बनाते बनाते किचन में सडनली वो familiarity आ गई, वो warmth आ गई. I'm like, दीदी नमक दो ना, क्या कर रहे हो? दीदी अरे मेरा पराठा जल गया. So suddenly I said, why am I suddenly from ma'am turned to Didi. And that translated in my chemistry with them in front of the camera. Very unassumingly, he fits you into the character without even you being aware of it. Then he told me, go to the folk dances here, यहाँ पर, और उनको dance करते हुए देख कर आओ. I said, what am I doing? तो गई, देख कर आई. And then he said, now listen to this song. गाना सुना. That's the beauty about shooting with Shyam Benegal. Pura crew, puri cast. It was a night shoot. Pura village. Everyone sat there, even though they were not shooting or villagers to aaye dekhne ke liye. They were all there to cheer me up. It was a 7-camera setup. It was a one-go dance like it's on stage, so I was even more nervous. But I was just having that eyes on that one man, Shyam Benegal, and he was totally. I was like, and I did it. There was loud cheer. I was picked up by all my co-stars and everyone. Hey, hurrah, very good. I felt so beautiful, so confident, and with gratitude I looked behind to thank Shyam Babu. और वो तो चले गए दूसरा shot लगाने, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा. But he left behind a girl who learned how to take on a responsibility, who got to know that she was confident and she had it in her.
Fabulous, fabulous. यही बात है. This is what makes them the icons.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think we'll be short on time.
Yeah.
So, but before on to the audience, I want to say thank you. It's been an honor that you asked me these questions, and I've totally enjoyed this session.
I thoroughly enjoyed listening to you, Divya.
Thank you.
Question?
Since we have all these young people here, any questions?
I hope the session is
There's
being
a mic.
recorded. Recording हो रही है ना इनके बातों की? Recording चल रही है? Okay.
Ji,
Questions?
sawal.
Please raise your
Yes.
hand.
Yes,
Give
ma'am.
your name.
Mic है इधर.
खड़े होकर अपना नाम बताइए और फिर अपना सवाल पूछिए.
Rather, they have a
ले
mic.
लीजिए.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Sheetal Dambharana.
Hi, Sheetal.
Yes. So I just have a lot of questions in my mind.
One
and-
only telling.
Yeah, I know. And I just wanted to come there and take you in